Hi there, it's Daisy. So today what we're going to do is we're going to think about how to use a white sheet of paper and break it into multiple spaces. I want you all to think of things other than the traditional style. So when you break a paper into multiple spaces, you could possibly use each space as an independent little panel of its own and create things in it. As a subject matter, I'm picking up crickets, and we're going to do a variety of colors and a variety of positioning in this one space alone. So stay with me and let's see how you like this project.
Okay, so we are going to do a project that's going to be contemporary. Contemporary can also be understood as being modern art or pop art. It's something that's colorful and it's really vibrant. So this is an abstract project, contemporary and abstract. So modern art along with not doing the traditional style. So you have this one cricket and you do the background and all that. No, this picture is very different. So we're going to start with our pen. Go ahead and get your Sharpie pen out.
Miss Daisy, what if we made a mistake?
If you think you'd rather draw with a pencil first, you do that. But, okay, since you've asked, I'm going to also revert to a pencil. Then we'll go over it with the Sharpie. Got it? So the first thing, when you have a clean sheet of paper, here's a new way that you can do your art. You think of a way to divide the space. So what that means is, for you guys, I'm going to ask you to make, and you don't need a ruler. Take your pencil and very steadily make a straight line down the side of your paper from top to bottom. This is one line. Then make a second line right next to it. So you're just copying the first one. If you go nice and slow, you'll be fine. You don't need a ruler because at the end of the day, it is art. And we can really do things without having to use supports all the time. Okay, next step, you're going to break the space from the bottom. So what that means is leave some space and you're going to make another line across. So all I'm doing is I'm breaking down my paper space. I'm creating different pockets. And we are going to use the pockets when we start working on our crickets. And we're going to spread them out and make them look more interesting. You're really going to give me a lot of trouble. Go. 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 Out. 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 If you want to go, go. Okay, next step. I want a big space here, so my next straight line is going to be right on top of it. And just copy this off, please. Now, this is just one way of approaching paper spaces. When you finish the project, I'm sure you'll think of your own ideas and what you could do to create spaces based on what you like. The last line that we're going to make is going to be a curve. So imagine a ginormous circle and you're drawing it, but you can only fit a little bit of it on the space. So what that means is I want you to use a curved line like this. And that's all the lines that we need to draw to divide the paper space. Now it is time for your Sharpie. You need a Sharpie. We sent a Sharpie out, so you're going to use that one. You're welcome to use a ruler. If you think that you would like to use a ruler, there's no rule that says you cannot. I just work without the ruler so that the kids are more comfortable, I find, and I draw it that way. So carefully, I want you to trace on top of your lines so you're making them permanent now. The reason I'm making them permanent with a Sharpie is because in this project, we do plan to use watercolors. And did you know that if you draw with a Sharpie, it never ever bleeds. A lot of different pens, when I use them and then I paint with them, they end up getting all smeared and smudged, but not a Sharpie. So I like Sharpies. They do a really, really good job. And last but not least, my curve line. Now, I want you to make one of these lines a little bit thicker. So what that means is right next to, for example, the bottom one, make another skinny line so that you have a thick and a thin line like this. And you can apply more Sharpie in between them. We leave the second line skinny. Only this one goes a little bit bigger. This is intentional. So it makes for a very interesting feeling when you look at your artwork. Another place where you're going to make your line thicker is going to be the top one, but not all the way down. So that would be an interesting change. So as soon as you finish what you're working on, just look up at the computer and look at what I've done and just copy it off. In case you see your pencil line anywhere on this paper, please erase it off. Keep it clean so that now that we go to drawing all our crickets, we don't have any confusion about having extra lines. So just clean it up so that you can move to the next stuff. Now, ready for this, guys? Okay, we're gonna wait. Some of you are still working, so I'm gonna give you guys a minute. Dante, well done. Good job. I can see your paper. Really nice. Very clean. We're gonna work with this one. Thank you, Yihan. Well done. Great job. Nathan, do you have a question for me? You have to turn your mic on, sweetie.
Okay. Are we gonna, do we erase the parts we traced with the permanent marker, the Sharpie, with our erasers? Do we erase them?
If you can still see some of your pencil that's showing up, the Sharpie is not going to erase, but the pencil line, yeah, you can go ahead and erase it. That way it just looks cleaner. That's all.
Oh, you got a Sharpie? Oh, but they're gray. And the other one? Oh, man, you got one. Oh, but it doesn't even cover good.
Okay. Is your name Penelope, sweetie? Yes, are you ready? Next step. Okay.
Hey, Miss Daisy.
Yeah?
Are we going to be drawing multiple lines?
This is it. No more lines now. We're going to make our crickets. And you need your color pencils out next to you when you work on it. Ready, Penelope? We gotta move, sweetie, okay? Now look at me. I'm gonna turn the paper. Eyes on me. I'm gonna turn. So I want this line down here, so we're gonna stick our cricket in here. Got it? This is cricket number 1. And I'm going to draw with my pen so you guys can follow. You all ready? Okay, what you need to do is, you need to know what is the top of the body. So when you look at the picture of the cricket on my computer, you can see that he's got a really straight long back, and then he has these long ginormous legs. So the first marker that I want you guys to put is, if this is where his feet are gonna be, on top, leave some space and make a line across like this. Just make a line right there. So we know that that is where we're gonna make his body, and then we can put his feet on the line down below. Now, I'm going to zoom this so that you guys can have a better look of what we're doing. There you go. Step 1, you're going to touch the line. So watch me, please. You're going to connect to the line at the bottom, 1. You're going to bend it. Watch me first. Do not draw. 2. And then you're going to take it up, out of the line. 3, like so. And then you're going to bring it back into the line. 4. So look at what I did. I put his feet on the line. Can you see that tiny little place where his foot is sitting on the line? So now he's holding the line. Then I start making the leg going up. Try that. While you're drawing, I'll tell you an interesting thing about crickets, right? You hear that crick, 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 crick noise when there's a cricket close by. Did you know that that noise comes from his legs, not his mouth? A cricket doesn't make his noise through his mouth. He makes it through his legs. Yihan, I cannot hear you because your mic is off. You want to talk to me? Turn your mic on.
No, I was just talking to my mom.
Okay. Is everybody done with the first line? So you got to make sure that your line goes over the back line. Remember the straight line we made? So when you take his really big leg up, it's going to go over that line. Then it's going to come back down into the body. So make sure that you got that part. Now, next step, we're moving on. Make yourself like a letter U right here and go to connect the top of the leg. This is your first joint. The second one is going to just be a double line. I'm going to keep this a little bit simpler and close. The third one is also a double line coming down, and now your leg is complete. So you've got this much done. That's your first lot of it. Now we're moving on, everyone. And what we're going to do is we're going to use this line to make him his wings. So look at this. I want you to use the top line. This is the top of his wing. Do not draw on top of your leg because the leg is in front of the wing. So you make a line here. And then you will go back to that same starting point and you will make a second line. But look at what happens here. Pay attention to the drawing first. Look at how it gets bigger on this side. Can you see that? I want you to make it bigger and I need you to close it up like so. So that you have created his wing. We are going to take off extra lines. These are my 2 lines. Now watch. Next step. I want you to touch the top line and bring down a short line like this across and connect both lines to it. So the line is moving in this direction. It is not going straight down. It's coming forward a little bit.
Miss Daisy, does this look good?
Yes, it does. It's perfect actually. Keep going. So now you're going to now pull it up. Watch me. So look, for those of you who are watching, I'm keeping everything really, really straight. Can you see that? So the wing was straight. Now the next section, which is his abdomen, is straight. And then we'll give him a tiny little head in the front. Now, touch the bottom part of the line and you're going to connect it like so. So you're not joining at the front. Can you see that? You've got it open. This is where we're going to put the cricket's head. Now, you're going to connect the 2 with a straight line going straight down. That's the first one. This is your head now, everyone. You're going to make a straight line down. Go back up. You're going to make a line up. Sachin, could you let Kavash know that there's a student, his name is Hao Dong, and he is joining 15 minutes late. And Kavash told me 10-minute rule, so I'm not letting him in. And then you're going to close it up like this. So you make like a triangle. The shape of a cricket's head is like a triangle. That's what you need to create. You can give your cricket an eye right here. Now, what is our next step? Our next step is to make the legs. So I'm going to make them one by one, and we'll only make the ones that are closest to us. What does that mean? First, do you remember this part right here, the body? I want you to come down here and put a dot right there. This is where you're going to start the leg. Let's draw it now. So first bend to the face, stop, don't touch the face. Second bend, go to the line, stop. And then the third one is you're going to make his foot go on the line. So this cricket, just like his back foot, the front foot is also resting on the line. Your next leg, I'm seeing some of you draw, so I'm going to hold back. Next leg, from this back area here, I want you to come down and put another dot right here. How do you connect this dot? You're going to push this back first, not straight down. Number 1, push it back, push it down, and push the leg here. So now you've got You made a letter Z is what you have done with this leg, essentially.
And before you read the letter Z, use the number 7.
Correct. There you go. All these things are as simple as what you just said, Penelope. Well done. Okay, we made our legs. Now we're going to make the lower abdomen and then the bottom of the body, and we're done. So, go to your back leg that you've already made. You're going to come away from the wing right here. Watch me first, please. I'm going to start a new line, and I'm going to let it kind of come as long as the wing and stop a little bit short. See? So I made a new line. I'm not using the wing line at all. Try that. Next, you want to make one more section under your abdomen. So watch me. This is the tip of his face. Go under it. So connecting from here, going under my leg, and coming back around like a letter U. Moving to our last line, which will connect this line here, the tail, to this part. So all you're going to do is pull out a new line. Remember to go under your leg. You cannot cut your leg out, right? So you're going to make sure that you stoop down enough to have the line go under your back leg, and then you're going to go connect it. Now for the antennas and a few of the lines on his tail. So the few lines on his tail, do not make them straight. Make them a little bit curved. So like this, curve, 1, curve, 2, curve, 3, and that's enough. Do not need to overdo it because we're going to go make cricket number 2 and cricket number 3. So we're going to space them out, and you're going to change sizes too. Now come to the front and give him his 2 antennas. So 1 antenna and 2 antennas. There you go. That's your cricket all done. This is all you're going to do for the cricket for this one. Now let's go to a new one. You guys complete the drawing, and I'm going to pull out my next picture. So this, let me see which one I really want to use. So I'm going to reduce this guy. Don't think I'm going to be using this one. There you go. This is a nice one. It gives you a different perspective on the cricket a little bit. Not a lot, but a little bit. And then we use this guy. So we're going to use these two. So here you go. Now, let's go back out. And what we're going to do is we are going to have turn back around. So I'm going to go back to normal size so you can see. See how you made the cricket upside down? Now, this is the right side of my paper, but really, you can do what you want. You can say that this is the right side, or you can say this is the right side. It's up to you. It's your picture. But what we're going to do now is we're going to draw the other cricket, the one on my computer right here. This one we're looking straight down at, and we're going to put him up over here. So, look at the picture, and what you'll basically see is there is a total of 3 body parts that you need to draw. But you have the antenna and you have tail sections. So leave enough space. Make sure you don't make him bigger than this much. There's room for the antennas. There's room for a tail. First step, make yourself a curved line for his head. Now I'm going to go ahead and expand this a little bit again. So coming back down. And you're going to close that head with a straight line right there. Next, a square part. This is a square. So you want to make it like a little box right there. Next, touch the corners of your box and you're going to spread out a little bit. Spread out a little bit. Now, you're going to bring it in a little bit. Bring it in a little bit. And then close to curve. You have your eyes right here, 1 and 2. So now we're adding body parts. Antennas are in front of the eyes. You have a set of wings that fit inside the body. So the way that you draw them is you come under the corner here, go in and you come up straight, 1. So look, I came under the corner and I just touched the side and made like a letter U. And then you're going to do something similar to the opposite side so that you can have 2 wings sitting next to each other. He has a tail. So first thing, let's do the center one, which is basically 2 lines, followed by like a leaf shape, like this. Now, on the side, you have I think these are what we call feelers. What that means is they tend to help the cricket feel if there's any danger around. So this is what you've got on the sides. Now we're going to move to creating his legs. So we're going to do it as pairs. And I think you'll find that a lot easier than making them 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So let's start. Go to the box. Start over here and give yourself a little curve on each side like this. The arms are shooting forward. So you're going to touch this and you're going to go up 1. And the same size you make on the opposite side. So you have the arm drawn the same on both left and right. Important. And I know you can do it. Change direction. Let it go to the side. And you're going to close again. Do the same for the other side. Side and close again. And now you're going to make them go forward again like this. And it's like a curved line. It's not really too straight. So you might think of that. And you might think of making sure you get a nice curve.
Daisy?
Huh?
The 24th pencil said, do you need it tonight?
No, no, no.
You can buy it tomorrow.
You can buy it tomorrow.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah. It's okay. So this leg is done. Come down to the top of the wings over here. And you're going to make, again, the 2 little knots. Now you're going to angle down. Not the same direction as his front 2 legs. Angle down. And you're going to repeat this on the opposite side. Next section is different. So pay attention, going in, going in. So it's coming back to the body. It's not moving away from the body. And then again, you're going to pull out. Last leg and the last thing to draw on this particular cricket. So look at how many crickets you've already finished off, and we are only at 30 minutes in our class, right? So come down to the tail end of the body. You remember this line and where you get this corner? You want to be about there. So you want to bring your line downward about that far. You want to bring it downward about that far. So make sure that the left and the right are the same size, and now draw a second line to help close them up. Remember, the back legs are his strongest legs. They're the ones that really help him jump as high as he jumps, which is why they look bigger in the picture also. Now turn them inward, one. And think of it as little boxes that you're making. Now straighten them up. And one last section for the back leg. I know that all the legs had 3 sections, but this one's got 4. So we've drawn them in now. And this guy is done. And we're moving to our last little cricket. And I'm going to zoom back out. So look at what your picture is turning out like now. So you've got these 2 crickets moving around. You have one more to make. Where would you like to make the last one? So you can pick a space wherever you think you like it. You have to find a place on your box where you can fit this new cricket coming in. It can be here. That's okay. You can put it there. You can put it in here if you prefer. That's okay. So I let you guys pick where you want this last guy to be, and let's start drawing. So I'm gonna go ahead and probably put him here. So I'm going to turn. Look at what I've done. I'm going to stick the guy here. So his direction is totally different from the other 2. The other 2 are facing different directions. However, this one is not. So again, I'm going to go ahead and zoom up so that you can see it a little bit better. And after this, we start our coloring process. So we're going to move to pencils first. And you got to keep your watercolors ready because you're going to be doing that for your background wash. And it's going to be fun because you get to pick all the colors that you want, right? So let's start. Remember how you made the leg, the back leg for the very first cricket? I'm going to have you do the same thing. So plant his foot on the line so that he is right there. Then I need you to take it up real high, like so. And I want you to bring it back down. Not as far, like this. Now, you're going to remember how, just think back to how you do the first cricket. So you're going to turn the leg again back, and you're going to connect up at the joint. Remember what we also talked about. The back legs are the strongest because he needs them to hop around. So that's why the muscle's so big over there. And then double up the line to the very, very back and the foot. And the back leg is complete, and we move to the next section. Now this looks...
This looks good.
This looks very good. Thanks, Gian. You're doing awesome. But think of it this way. This is a baby cricket. That was like an adult. This is a baby. So you don't have to make him as big as the other guy. Once we've drawn this thing, we want to remember how we made the wing. So don't go too far. Be very close, and you're going to create a brand new line that kind of goes behind your leg, not in front, because this leg is on the other side. So you're going to make that much. Leave that alone, and we're going to create a new line. So it's going to go down, and it's going to go straight. Remember how you did that abdomen part? I wonder if you recall. And then you're going to go ahead and close, bring it together, but you won't close it. And look, everything's going straight in one line. Can you see that? So we're repeating steps. If you can remember these steps, next time you need to draw a cricket, you won't even need to look at a picture. You just remember your steps. Okay, now a straight vertical line down for his head and connect up the abdomen part right there. And you're going to turn this into a triangle. You remember that also? a triangular head for our baby cricket. And you can give him an eye right here. Well done, Penelope. We're so cool. Well done. Did you guys think of it this way? You all are drawing with a Sharpie marker. And look at how nice and easy your lines are, just fantastic. And you don't, I don't see any of you worried. So that's pretty cool. Okay.
And also, I'm a real artist, actually.
I see it. I do. I saw your picture and I was like, okay, we're dealing with a real artist here. Okay. Come down from behind the head over here. Remember how we made a dot right there? So you're going to go forward. You're going to go down. And you're going to land his foot on that line so that we know he's traveling on that line. Go to the leg behind it, put another dot right over here. You remember how you made this one? It was that letter Z. Go back, come down, and then plug your foot on that line again.
Stacey, does this look good?
Yes. Thank you, Rihan. You're doing just fine. Don't worry, sweetie. Okay. Next step. Do not go to the tip of his nose. I need you to touch here and make sure that you can connect up a letter U to the abdomen right there first. We haven't made his wing so far. So let's not forget his wing. Even a baby cricket has wings. So let's come back to the abdomen and let's pull that line downward so that we get to make a wing for the baby right there. Done. Now for his lower abdomen, you're going to take a brand new line that does not go as long as the tail. You remember what we did in that one, right? You're going to come to the chest, the letter U that you made, and you got to make sure that you go under his biggest leg and not go across it. You finished your second cricket almost, and you can give him two little antennas, not antlers, and some lines right here. That's it. Our cricket drawings are done, my friends. And now we get into our colors, which is our color pencils. So that should be fun. Now, again, this is a contemporary project. What that means is you can change up the colors of your crickets and make them whatever you want them to be. If you don't like green crickets, I don't mind. You can make them pink crickets. It's your call. So you can do what you want in color choices. I, on the other hand, but remember this, when we go to doing our watercolors, then that will kind of dictate as to how you're going to do your watercolors. So remember one thing. The top of the body is not as bright as the bottom of the body. Do not know why that is. What that means is, let's say you opted to doing, I don't know, a red cricket. Let's just go with that for a minute. So I would like to get a light and a dark so that I can work with that. And what I would do is I would put the dark on the top part of the body, like so. And then the bottom part of the body is going to be my bright part. So I'm going to, and this is mainly the tail. It's not even the chest. So I want you to consider all these things and don't just use one color. Use a light and a dark. And when it comes to the legs, again, similar thing, you want to use a light and a dark. Now, if you want to make your color pencils even darker than what they look, the trick is to use the black. And what you can do is you can very lightly go over the red with your black, and that will start to deepen that color. Like put a really dark tone on it. I intentionally left the bottom of the face empty because I wanted to put the lighter color there. So I did not forget to color him. I just wanted to do something different at a certain point. I want you to see how I'm shading it. So I'm going to zoom back in. Look at this little guy. So when I put the colors in the joints, I'm adding my black to make shadows so that he looks like he's a real guy and that he looks three-dimensional. Things like that. So when you add a light and a dark in something that you're coloring, you essentially are giving it a lot of dimension. So this is what we've got so far. And all I did was use a light and a dark red. That's it. And I can change the color in my second Cricut. Remember, this is a contemporary art piece. That means each Cricut can be a different color. You don't have to say, oh, it can only be green. I don't want you to feel restricted in the choices, right?
Miss Daisy, can we start now?
Of course, please. Sorry, I should have said so. Thanks for checking in, though. Appreciate it. And we're going to, in the last 10 minutes is when we're going to do all our watercolors, because watercolor is not going to take much time, but just make sure that you have all your materials ready to go. That's all you really need to worry about. Everything else will follow. So this guy is done, and I'm moving over to my next guy, and I'm sort of torn between whether I should go purple or should I go blue.
Miss Daisy?
Yep.
I did a green Cricut and a blue Cricut.
I'm glad. I'm glad you're picking up your own color. See, I'm also working on a blue one right now. Because it just feels like it's so much more fun if you can just change the colors around. So especially if your teachers in your school, if you ever kind of, have to work with somebody different and they say, hey, let's do a pop art or contemporary art. Do not be confused. You can check with them one time, of course, but you should be allowed to do any color that you want to. Because that's the fun of it all. I always like doing a light and a dark color because it really helps my art to kind of come out. And it gives it a lot of depth. It's really nice to see the colors come together. And it makes you feel like, there's brightness in the thing that you're working on, as well as a little bit of the deeper edges. So all of it comes together so nicely. It's really cool.
Miss Daisy,
Uh-huh.
I hope you did a yellow cricket.
Absolutely. Go for it. What is the darker color you can decide? Do you want it to be a dark yellow from your packet, or you could maybe even think of doing orange with your yellow, you know? So those are options you have. Oh, by the way, you can also think of doing a very bright green. So it's not just one option. You get a lot of options. I forgot to color my eye in the last one, so I didn't want to forget this time. Gotta remember those eyes.
You like it. How do you look at mine?
Okay, I'm done with my next one and my third one. I can really just move this thing around, so I'm thinking, now that I've got this one, maybe, how about an orange pink? That should be interesting. Put orange for the top. Like on the very, very center of the thing. And then use the pink as a highlighter all around. So there are many ways of putting colors down. You don't have to feel like it's only one way. Remember, we made that cricket that was like top down. That means you have to figure out a different way of coloring this guy, because he's on a totally different angle. So if you look up at the computer, this is the way that I'm coloring my last one. And remember, we talked about this, no rules. We are down to 12 minutes, everyone. In 2 minutes, we want to start our watercolor so that we do wrap up this project for today. We don't want to be holding back, okay? So plan to wrap it up in 2 minutes, please.
Now I'm hitting harder because I didn't know. Now I'm hitting it really hard so that it gets sharper.
All right, but remember, look, even after we keep, if Miss Daisy leaves and I have to go do something else, it still means that you can keep working and finish off. Please don't feel that you need to be rushed. You should never have to feel that way. So sorry if that makes you feel that way. But you do not have to feel that way. You can wait for a bit more. Do everything else that you want to do with me. And when I'm gone and I'm doing something else, you can continue with this project. And you can add your own. Look at how I'm shading and I'm adding the shadows on the body from the top. So I created a little bit more of darkness here to just make it look a bit more interesting. Now I'm going to take it out of zoom and put it back up here, and let's talk about our colors, shall we? So, hey guys, one thing you need to do that will take a little bit of time, you need to grab your paintbrush and you need to drop 4 drops of water on each of the colors that you want to use for your background. So what does that mean? So look at this. I take clean water and I'm gonna drop it 1, 2, 3, 4. You need to drop the water on top of each of the color cakes that you have in your palette. This allows the paint to become softer so that when you are ready to paint, you're able to take paint from here and you can just paint.
Art's not about how it would really look. Art is about your imagination, right, Debbie?
any color, like you got so many colors in your palette, you just want to think, I might need this. So whatever color makes you feel that way, put the water on that color. You may not use it eventually, but you should put the water on. This way, the color is prepared for you to paint with it.
Miss Daisy, how many colors are we going to use?
So the colors is not about how many. Look at it section by section. Let's do this. So the first section where I have my pink guy, it would be a great idea to maybe do a yellow behind him or a green. That will make him stand out. Do you see what I'm saying? So now when you need to use colors, number one, you have to decide what color would be a good contrast to your cricket.
It would go good in putting here.
Okay.
Here, right here.
Second thing that you're
Like green.
everyone, second thing that you are looking at, you want to take your brush. Please watch the first section, and I'm going to increase it a little bit. Look at this. I want you guys to watch just one section with me, and then we'll go forward. You can use just clean water. Do not put paint on this. Start by painting the area down with just water. What this will do is and you can paint over your cricket also a little bit, and you don't have to worry because you've used color pencils on him and you've used a Sharpie marker, so it's not going to get messy or bleed. So I'm going to paint everywhere with the water first, and I'm spreading it as best as I can. Now, I know that behind this guy, I think I'd like to see like a yellow green, something like a bright green, because that will really make him pop, right? So I've got it down. Now I take my color, it's on my brush, and I'm going to drop it on the water, just like this. And then I take water on my brush, and I can help push this color into all the different corners of this little pocket. And it will do awesome for me. That's as simple as it gets. So you're going to do this with the first. Pick your own colors. Remember, you do not copy me on the colors. On the colors, you have a full choice of what you want to do. And you'll notice I'm painting a little bit on top of my cricket, and even then my cricket isn't getting any of the green color stains. It stays really good. Now I can also add a little bit of a dark green on the corners if I want to. That is an option I have. Clean my brush, and I can spread this dark green only to stay in the outer corners of this little box. Every section that we drew is like a little box. You have to give it the color that you think will work, like so. So, if you have a question, just ask. But if you think you got it, just start. And you want to keep the colors light. And that's one of the reasons I painted water first, because that's one of the techniques of creating a wash effect. And once you do that, the colors stay really nice and muted. Now, I'm going to leave all this section alone. And here's another thing. Look at what my paper is doing. If I tip it, the water will drag down to cover all the places where it may not have gone. And that's okay, because it kind of makes it move by gravity. I'm not really doing anything. I can just tip my paper and it will help move the water to another new place. Now I'll leave this alone, and I'm going to go to my other guy here. And I'm going to think of a color that I can use behind him. How about if I used, for example, I don't know, maybe make it like a blue-green kind of a thing, sky, earth kind. So let me paint the water in while I'm thinking about this. Get that water, and remember, the water you have to paint carefully into only the section that you want to work on. You don't want to paint the water everywhere. That's the trick. The water controls the flow of the color. So if you are not painting it everywhere, the color can't go everywhere. It will only go where you tell it to go. And here's my blue. I put it on the very, very top. And if I want to just leave it as blue, I can. If I want to add a second color at the bottom, I can. I have both choices open to me. So that's my blue up there. And I can put my green down here. Almost as if he was in the garden and we just caught him, sort of just enjoying a nice blue sky kind of a day. Who wouldn't want to be out on a day like this, right guys? So this is my other section. Again, I can leave that alone and I can move. Now I'll go to one of my empty sections. Remember, even those sections need to be painted. It is not only about the sections that have the crickets. So we're down to our last 4 minutes and we're doing awesome, guys, in my opinion. Very nice. In these sections, I could probably paint a color that I may not use elsewhere. So how about a black? I could do that. And I could add the black, and around the black, I could think of adding, for example, a red. So you can play with colors and you can see what does or doesn't work, so that you don't have to feel too much like, oh, this is right or this is wrong. There's no right or wrong. It's just getting to really, really know and understand what can happen when you put certain colors together. So you could think of it as color theory. So this part is done, and that's what I choose to do in that one. Now, the very center, how about that one? I'm not really totally sure what I want to do there. What if...
I did like a sunsetty background for my big cricket.
That is very cool. Oh my God, your colors are looking so brilliant. Well done, Dante. Great job in that one. Well done, well done. You make us so happy with all that you do. Keep it going, Dante. Have you finished all your sections, Dante?
I'm just about to do the cricket, my smallest cricket that's blue.
Okay.
I'm thinking of maybe doing him with a night sky.
Perfect. Think about that. And I will leave the choices to you guys. I think it's so awesome that you all are making all the choices that you think that you would like to see in your pictures. Wonderful. Does not get better than that. Now you can leave a few of your boxes white. You don't have to put color in all of them. So that is another thing. This project does not mean that you have to cover every single box. And also, here's another thought for you guys, because we're almost there at the point where I have to let you go. So look at this. What if I also took my Sharpie and I created a pattern like this? Just simple lines. So this project is a play of creativity. At the end of the day, you get to work your colors and you get to create. So some of them you can do this. Think about what you would like to see. But it's this time where I have to let all of you go because I have to get to another class. But keep working. I want you to finish your pictures. Do not stop them in between. And we look forward to seeing you next Wednesday. Have fun, guys. So happy that you're enjoying yourself. Love it.